Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 6, 2021 Mars trine Pluto reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Capricorn be affected by Mars trine Pluto? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Ooh, I love how that one just flew right out. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the High Priestess. This is one of my favorite cards, and I love that. There's just a sense of knowing that comes forward. Then we have the Witch of Air. This is the Queen of Air, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So if we're born on the cusp with Aquarius, this is coming through very, very powerfully. If we have air sign energy within our chart, this is coming through very powerfully within our inner self. Then we have the Hierophant, Taurus energy. If we have this within our natal chart, this is coming through very powerfully within our hearts, going to have a great effect on our hearts. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. Now, this is a gift just for us. We are earth sign energy, and so this gift is coming in for us to move us forward in prosperity, success, abundance. But what's so interesting here, it's a dung beetle. Now, the dung beetles were considered sacred in ancient Egypt because they were seen as following the pattern of the sun. You know, they would take a little piece of dung and start rolling it throughout the day, make it really big, and then abandon it. And that was like the passing of each day. So there is something sacred here that if you said, you know, a dung beetle is sacred or dung is sacred, you would think, oh, that's ridiculous. But there's going to be something sacred that comes forward that you think, oh, that's ridiculous. But it really is going to be profound. Now let's look at, it's just a little bit funny, but it's true. Let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Now we have the Lovers, which is Gemini energy. We have to be mindful of falling into the lust of it all during this time, of not being focused on what we want, what we need, where we need to be, but being focused only on the feelings, the emotions, and, you know, the moments of things. There's a lot to be said to live in the moment, but there's also something to be said to be almost Hellenistic. You know, it's like I'm only going after pleasure. I'm only going after what satiates me at this time. That doesn't usually end well. You know, so here we're going to need to be very mindful of this. We're also going to need to be very mindful of people who are able to do this, who are able just to say, you know, I'm falling into, it's almost like I'm falling into vices, but I'm doing it in such a form of excess that it almost becomes a way of life. And we're going to be very intrigued by that because it's going to be like, well, maybe I don't want to be so responsible. Maybe I don't want to carry so much upon my shoulders. Maybe I don't want to be an earth sign energy right now. Maybe I just want to express and be and let the craziness out. Like, let myself be whatever it is that I want to be at this moment. So we have to be very mindful of that there's just going to be the sense of overindulgence and wanting to embrace overindulgence. Reel it back during this time, because this is such a profoundly blessed time for us that we need to take it. We need to take it and not sit there in overindulgence, because we have the High Priestess, we have the Hierophant, and the High Priestess in an early form of the tarot was called the female Pope. And the Hierophant represents the Pope in the major arcana. And the Hierophant rules over everyone, because the Pope in medieval times ruled over everyone. So we have this powerhouse of spiritual understanding, of connection, that is going to transcend us during this time if we let it. If we don't, then it might not. Let's see what our chakra energy is. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Rebirth. Now this is the Earth Star chakra located 6 inches below our feet. We are being transformed and reborn. This is a time where if we connect with our earth, if we connect with ourselves, if we sit there and say, this is how I'm rooted to the earth, it can be through barefoot walking. It could be walking actually barefoot or getting barefoot shoes. It can be, just going out for walks, being in nature, or saying, what is it that I need that transforms me, that guides me, that opens up the door, that leads me forward? Because we're going from being a caterpillar to being a butterfly. We're going from being something that may seem overly common to something that is always beautiful to see. Even a moth, in my opinion, is beautiful to see. Just that freedom of flying in the air. And that's going to be something that we embrace during this time. It moves us to really understanding Mars trine Pluto. So at Mars trine Pluto, this is a time of intense focus. This is a time where we can get things done. Now, you would think that intense focus means the ego comes in, especially since this is a time of astoundingly strong wills and a time of absolute determination. But this is a time where we can actually look at things and say, I'm stepping out of my ego. Or like, my ego isn't getting tangled up into everything. We have to be mindful of those who let their ego be tangled up in things by embracing kind of like a Hellenistic, nihilistic mentality towards life or towards desires. It moves us then into the place where Mars acts on Pluto's evolutionary drive for healing, transformation, and rebirth. So Mars is this warrior energy. Mars was called Ares in ancient Greece. So Greeks' name for the god of war was Ares. When the Romans took over the pantheon, they renamed Ares Mars. So you have the god of war, and then you have the transformative kind of healing, almost mystical elements of Pluto coming into play. And you would think, these two don't go together, but they do. It's kind of like when you have a really nice spiritual person, a person who's all about healing and connecting, and then they have a person who's a little bit gruffer, a little bit more like, no, we need to do this, and no, we need to have this thing done this way. So that person isn't drained and, overwhelmed. That's going to be what this pairing is like. And it moves us to being easily able to express our desires, our passions, and our wants. This is what we get to see during this time. It's like, what do I desire? What is my passion? What do I want? And all of a sudden, we get to focus on why we're here, our purpose, and getting to embrace a higher energy vibration. This is a time of change. And this is a time where we get to be part of that change, because there's an aura around us that lets us embrace our sensuality, that lets us embrace our power and our passion. And we see that really at our heart and at our root during this time. And this is a time where if we can embrace this, we break down a barrier we didn't know we were being held back in. We didn't know was taking away our blessings and our desires and where we really want to be within our lives. And so at our root, we have the High Priestess. We have this mystery of the moon. We have this mystery of being. We have this sense of, I'm opening a door. I'm gaining desire. I'm looking at things openly and honestly, not the way that I want to see it, but the way that it needs to be seen. We're going to have a lot of disillusionment come forward, or things that we thought, oh, well, that's just the truth. And we're going to be like, is it? Is it a truth? Is this something that's powerful for me? Is this something that will help me out? Or is this something that I need to step back from? Is this something that doesn't aid to my energy vibration, doesn't help me move forward? And it can be, thinking, oh, I have to do things a certain way, or I have to go about getting that promotion or that job that I always wanted through this route. But we're going to see it's more a circuitous route. It's going to be more of a route that isn't as traveled, but it starts to open to us. Ideas start to open to us. We start to open to us. And there's power, and there's insight, and there's passion, and there's brilliance that comes forward. There's so much that was hidden. There are blindfolds that are being lifted from our eyes. And why I use the plural, or why we use the plural, because it's spirit, is because we have many blindfolds over us. And as those blindfolds are released, we start to see the world more and more. Some people have a lot more blindfolds than others. It's kind of like being wrapped in a cocoon. We have a layer, cut away, until we become that butterfly, until we get to move forward the way that our heart needs to, our soul desires to. And it moves us to the witch of air. It moves us to being the creator, the mover, the becomer of the breath. Or not the creator, because let's just say a typical idea of a witch is not that she creates the air, but that she can manipulate it. And a witch can be a person historically who was a female who embraced power that maybe they thought that she shouldn't have had. But this is going to be a time where we step into the power of our breath and our voice. This is going to be a time where we're not afraid to embrace our voice, to speak up for ourselves, to say what we need, what we want, and to claim who we are. And it moves us to the Hierophant. It moves us to this place where we have the sacred feminine aspect of the Hierophant and the sacred masculine aspect of the Hierophant come forward, with the High Priestess being the sacred feminine aspect, the female Pope. Now, it doesn't matter if you believe in Pope Joan or not, if she was a myth or if she was a person who actually lived. What matters is that there's a face to the papacy, that was shrouded away, that was hidden, or a story that was made. And so here, we're going to find that there's a tradition, a truth, that we're stepping into, that we didn't realize needed to be a part of us. We're going to look at the things that we absolutely need within our lives in order to be powerful, in order to move forward, in order to embrace what we want and go after who we are. And this becomes something more than we expected. This becomes a claiming of our voice. This becomes a power of our intuition, our souls, ourselves. This becomes a moving forward. And as we move forward, we embrace everything that we are and everything that we want to be. The Hierophant is a time of gaining power and gaining understanding. It is a time of saying, but this is what's sacred for me. It doesn't mean that we fall to orthodoxy. If we want to, we of course can. There's nothing holding us back. But what it means is that we look at who we are and say, if I go against this, I lose an intrinsic part of me. Now, I'm going to give you a personal example. I'm a very kind person, which sounds like a braggadocious thing to say, but it was always something that really annoyed me. I always saw it as being naive. I always saw it as not being as, wise as everybody else. But if I step away from that kindness, which I have tried to do before, I step away from an intrinsic part of who I am. And that's just a truth. It was a truth that I found very hard to accept for a very long time. And so here, it is saying, what is the part of us that we might see as a weakness that actually is part of our birthright? What is a part of us that we might have tried to deny so that we could become more successful, we could become more like the mainstream? And yet, if we did it, we felt like we lost a piece of us. It moves us to the Ace of Pentacles. It moves us to the gift of dung, the gift of the dung beetle, following the sacred movement of the sun, embracing our prosperity from what others could see as nothing, or as, pardon my language, but as shit. And so here, we look at this and we say, but there's something here. There's a power, there's a purpose. During this time, you can have an idea that absolutely opens the door for you. Because remember, not remember, because I don't think I said this before, but with Mars trine Pluto, all right, this is a time where we can embrace our psychic development, our intuitive power, where we can step into our power, our intuition, our passion, and what we want from life. And this opens up a door for us that is extraordinary. Now, you can say, well, I don't believe in that, but if we start to listen to our gut feels about things, if we start to align ourselves with this intuitive power, with a sense of, I'm more aware of my world than I realize, and just let it be like that, we can start to open up doors, or we can start to really trust ourselves, our way forward, and what we need to listen to. It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. And that's strength. That's Leo energy. But it's boiling everything down to brute force strength. It's boiling everything down to the conquered and the conqueror. And that's not what strength is. Whenever I see the strength card, and I know if you've watched this channel before and you've watched these readings, you're going to be like, Dane, not the story again. But whenever I see the Strength card, I always see my great-grandmother, who passed away at 98 years old, who was one of the strongest women he ever knew. But she could not bench press a huge amount. I mean, I think she was 5 feet, if that. She was an old, frail at times woman. And she was the strongest person you ever had the privilege of meeting. Strength is not about size. Strength is about quiet understanding. It's about learning. It's about seeing. It's about staying kind and compassionate when the world gives you every single reason not to be. And we poo-poo that. We say that's not strength at all. And yet, I think that's what makes us unreasonably strong. And that's why we must not see that as strength. Here we are looking at what truly makes us strong. And it might not be the classical definition. It might not be like Hercules. But we have to remember why Hercules did some of his greatest deeds. It was in penance. Because he went into berserker mode. He killed his whole entire family. And he did penance, impossible deeds, to try and make up for the weight upon his heart. Why do we see strength only in one way? It's time to open up our definition. It moves us to our subconscious chakra message, which is self-mastery. This is the solar plexus chakra. This is a sense of falling into alignment with us, falling into alignment with what we desire, want, need, and understand. The solar plexus chakra says, listen to your gut, listen to who you are, feed yourself properly. Feed yourself with the knowledge, with the words, with the revelations and revolutions that you need to. A personal example, I was watching a lot of true crime. Why? I don't know. It was like 16-year-old me came back, and when I used to watch the Lifetime channel all the time. Or younger, actually. And I noticed that was really lowering my energy vibration, really putting me into a negative mind space. There we go. And so I had to stop. I had to tell, YouTube to stop. I had to stop looking at, TV shows like that. I had to go back to a more positive mind space. We need to look here with self-mastery, how to align ourselves vibrationally. And that has to do with taking away the negative and calling out the negative on ourselves. Even if we think, oh no, it's just fun. It's just a bit of murder. What is it going to do? It's like, no, it's not going to do good things for our psyche. It moves us to our subconscious rooted energy. And that's the magician. As above, so below. As we believe it, so it becomes. So the high priestess here has two amazing partners, right? She has the Hierophant, which is her male counterpart. And she has the magician, which is her mirror image, which is the fact of she is the quiet reserved, and he is the claiming before his throne, standing before, not his throne, before his altar, and saying, these are my powers, this is myself, this is what I desire. So here we have quiet revolution at our root, and here we have, declaration at our root. Both are going to be astoundingly important. As above, so below. As we believe it, so it becomes. But we also have to be aware of the revelations that are coming our way, and the things that we might finally be seeing the truth, or finally be seeing what a harsher reality, like what everybody else has been telling us. And we might have been saying, oh no, I'm being too harsh, or oh no, I'm not looking at it right. And now we step back and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was so blind, or I can't believe I gave this person so many chances. As above, so below. Be very mindful also of what you're thinking about, because that will greatly affect this time. It moves us to our subconscious personal self. And it's the offering. Now, the offering is in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the Hermit. So this is Virgo energy. So if we have this within our chart. But this is saying here that it's time to step away from the hustle and the bustle and connect and do our part. Here he is planting a tree. He is connecting with the roots of the forest. The forest is watching over him. That which protects us, that which helps us to understand, watches over us and guides us. And we embrace a power and a purpose, but also a connection to ourselves that we had not imagined. It leads us to making offerings. It leads us to pouring the milk upon the tree or the water and letting it spread out. It leads us to embracing more and more and more. Not in a braggadocious way, not in a way of look at me, but in a steady, loving, caring way that guides us to a place that we never thought we could be. It brings us to our subconscious emotional self. And that is the Ten of Pentacles. prosperity that lasts for generations. It is not time for us to walk away from wealth. It is time for us to look at a generational blessing. We talk about generational curses, and those are negativities that were spoken over us, that we believed. That's what a curse is. It is negative words that seeped into our heads and, made us doubt ourselves, made us stop ourselves. A blessing is the encouragement. A blessing is the possibility of greatness. The blessing is saying, now it's my time to shine. And we pass this forward to the next generations. It doesn't have to be our generational line. It can be whomever. As we stand in our wealth, as we claim our wealth, the power, the passion, the prosperity that we are born to embrace. This could be financial wealth or something as valuable as money during this time. We embrace it. And it embraces us. We also come to a completion of a cycle. There's a sense of we come to a revelation about money. We come to a new phase with money. And that's going to be important. It really is. Our subconscious public self is the Queen of Swords, cutting through doubts and fears and negativity. She is the warrior queen. She's the queen with the most sacred masculine energy within her. And we need that during this time. To say, this is what I want, this is what I need. I might need to be a bit of a hard ass, but that's okay. Because this is what I'm going after. I'm cutting through doubts, fears, and negativity. I'm opening up the doors to my passion, my desire, and what I intrinsically want from my life. Nothing and no one is going to hold me back. The Queen of Swords speaks her mind, but is also very mindful of her words and the impact and the power that those words have. She's also very mindful of what she fills her headspace with. We have to be very mindful of that, honing ourselves correctly. All right, Capricorn. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace this Mars trine Pluto. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Capricorn.